Captain Stanley, thank you for making time for the Manila Times. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Well, I think you're in a lucky industry because the government wants to make tourism its focused so that we can recover from the pandemic faster. But I'd like to ask you about that. But first, maybe we should ask you, how is Philippine Airlines these days? Are there any lingering issues from the pandemic? And then how moving forward, what is your outlook for the airline
Okay.
and maybe the travel and tourism industry?
Oh, now for the airline, it's actually good. As you mentioned, it's one of the top priorities of the current administration to actually bring in more tourists, and we are one with the government together with DOTR to improve the infrastructure, and together with DOT in marketing the Philippines as a destination for the foreigners, tourists. So lingering issues of the pandemic. Um, as we all know, we've been seeing some complaints about the aircraft of Philippine Airlines, especially the older ones now that were flying to the US. And because during the pandemic, it was kind of difficult.
Of course,
And
no airline was
yes,
flying.
no flights. And so restructuring was done that time. So we have to return about 30% of the fleet, the aircrafts, to the lessors just to be more financially stable at that time.
Right.
So, but last year was really a good year for Philippine Airlines, one of the best years
Okay,
of
2022.
2022.
Okay.
So,
So that they say that the revenge travel was that a reality for Philippine Airlines? Huh?
yeah, actually it recovered really strongly last
Okay.
year. I can still remember last year, January, that's the time I took the post of
Congratulations, by the way.
yeah.
It must have been I don't know. Were you worried because you were coming in at a difficult time, right? I mean, a
Yes.
very challenging time.
Last year was still very uncertain
Yes.
at that point.
Yeah.
And we had the Omicron variant that time.
Right.
And the cases are really like it's super rising every day. We can see that. However, it actually helped so much because of the herd immunity that happened after the Omicron variant. So February, we started seeing a lot of countries started to loosen up the restrictions, and the Philippine government as well. So at around Feb, March, yeah, it started to become
Opening,
easier to come in. And we launched a campaign of, together with DOT that time, the Philippines is now open. So
Nice.
yeah, it actually attracted so much traffic that really helped the company as well. So financially, we had a good year. So
Okay.
I'll go back to the main point that I was saying. Because during the pandemic, there were no flights.
Right.
So we used those planes only, we returned some of the planes
For emergency only,
for mainly for cargo. Yes,
okay.
to bring in essential supplies like
Right.
the PPEs,
Yeah.
the vaccines
Right.
for our countrymen that time. And we even loaded in the aircraft cabin as well that time. So it actually damaged some of our seats that time.
Okay. Because it's not meant for cargo.
It's not meant for cargo,
Yeah.
especially the cabin.
Yeah.
The belly is fine. However, we even loaded the cargo on the seats
Right.
with the approval
Just to
of
maximize the the capacity.
the
no?
capacity.
There.
So it was approved naman by the FAA and also by IATA. So yeah, because as we all know, that's very important, especially bringing vaccines, PPEs, all those things. And aside from that, we also flew a lot of repatriation flights.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, to bring back our kababayans
Right.
to the Philippines. So having said that, those are really the challenges that we're facing today,
Yeah.
especially the supply chain issues.
Yeah.
Even until today,
Yeah.
it's not. It has not recovered yet
Mm-hmm.
to its efficiencies before
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's taking some time to bring in the spare parts of
Yeah.
the, especially the in-flight entertainment.
Right.
But it's not across the fleet of Philippine Airlines today.
Right.
It's just 777 that we're servicing the U.S. routes
Okay.
that's being affected.
Okay.
But as early as mid last year, we've already ordered a lot of spare parts to actually
Okay.
fix those planes.
I see.
The interior, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, regarding the maintenance, safety, engines, the aircraft, it's all maintained.
Uh-huh.
It's just the in-flight entertainment and some of the.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really like.
The frills.
Yes,
Yeah,
the frills.
okay, yeah.
Because those were not the priorities during the
Right,
pandemic,
right.
to be really honest about it.
Yeah.
But last year, around mid-year, we've already seen stronger demand. So
Okay.
that's the time we started like really ordering a lot of spare parts to fix those entertainment, the seats.
I
Yep.
see. I see. So, when you said that you had to return some planes to your lessors and you bounced back last year, are you at 100% now, or are you still I mean, relative to before the pandemic, are you still behind a bit, or are you already back to where you were?
Okay. So in terms of planes, we're like 20 something planes less
Okay.
compared to the pre-pandemic.
Okay.
So capacity wise, I think we will not be able to go back to 100%.
Okay.
However, the number of flights and because we also find a lot of efficiencies regarding the scheduling of planes.
Yeah.
So right now, I can say we're already about 90%, yes, of
Okay.
pre-pandemic level.
When you say 90%, that's 90% of capacity?
Yes, the flights,
Yeah.
the maximum capacity that
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
deploy
Carry, yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. A lot of international flights were already back to pre-pandemic level.
Okay.
Yeah, especially the U.S., the Canada, and
Right.
the Middle East and other Asian destinations.
Right.
And now China opened up already. Like
So that's
they
back,
announced last
yeah.
month.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that's back already. However, we're ramping up slowly, and I think by mid-year we'll be fully back also to pre-pandemic level.
I see.
The China capacity as well.
You were saying that you're, because of the recovery, you have some orders in the pipeline. Is this?
Oh,
is
yes.
that planes that you will purchase, or is that planes that you will lease, or
Okay.
what's the? I didn't realize that
Oh.
that you're leasing some airlines as well.
So pre-pandemic, we actually had some pending orders of
Okay.
to fly the regional
I
routes.
see. So that was a part of
However,
the long-term
yeah.
plan back. Then you had the pandemic.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we were supposed to take the delivery in 2020. However,
Right.
we just unable
COVID-19
to
happened.
unable to do that. So
Yeah.
we deferred those. We deferred actually to
Yeah.
2025
Yeah.
and 2026
Right.
for the delivery.
I see. Are these Boeing, Airbus, or something? De Havilland or whatever?
These are Airbuses, like
Airbuses,
the
okay.
Neos,
The
the
Neos.
newer engines also.
Okay. Now, for people like me who don't really understand, I mean, you're the captain. What's the difference between the narrow body, the wide body? I mean,
Okay.
does it have to do with efficiency and capacity, or
Yeah, the
okay.
capacity for the narrow body, it's range depending on the configuration, how many
Okay.
business class, how many economy,
I see.
how many economy seats.
Okay.
So depending on the configuration, but in general for Philippine Airlines, we offer business class and the
Right.
better pitch,
The
seat pitch.
premium,
The premium,
premium economy.
yes, premium economy, and even the economy, we have better leg rooms. So it's less than 200 passengers. It can
Okay.
accommodate around 195
Okay.
passengers. But depending on the airline, sometimes they can go as much as 240, 250.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
but with tighter leg
Right,
rooms.
right, right. Now, you know, just watching the news from the U.S., one of the problems they have there is, I think during the pandemic they let go of a lot of pilots. So
Yeah, correct.
when they opened up, their problem was they didn't have enough pilots to fly the planes. What's the situation here in the Philippines?
Oh, in the Philippines, so I myself
Yeah.
is a pilot as
Right.
well. So I've been
So if you're short, you can step in and okay.
to help out. But overall, the situation in Philippine Airlines is quite good at the
Okay.
moment. And during the pandemic, we also retrenched like 25% of the workforce.
Okay. Is this
And,
ground crew?
The whole
or
workforce is around 25 to 30.
Altogether.
But yeah, for the pilot, it's about 25% as well.
Okay.
But we have already resumed the hiring of newer pilots as well.
Yeah. I know in the pandemic, somebody was telling me that one of the challenges of all airlines in the Philippines is that many of our pilots are pirated by other airlines.
Yes,
I guess because I guess the general impression is that our Philippine pilots are skilled, but and so you know other airlines
Yeah.
come here to recruit and pirate from you guys. Is that still happening or?
Oh, before, yes, it happened before several times. But I would say it's really creating that safe environment also for pilot and really taking good care of them,
Okay.
understanding what their needs
Okay.
are. Yeah, because in 2019 we kind of changed it when I was the head of operations,
I see.
and we've tried to promote more internal candidates like the first
I
officer, the
see.
co-pilots.
I see.
We try to promote them and at least protect their growth.
Right.
To show them that there will be growth in the company instead of hiring direct
someone else.
captains
Yeah.
on top of them.
I see.
So I think that solved a lot of issues.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that helped.
For young Filipinos who are looking for careers, is you know, are there opportunities to be pilots or to work for airlines in the Philippines? Is that or are you all you know fully staffed right now?
Oh,
What's
right.
the opportunity for younger kids?
Oh, so as we mentioned earlier, that our company, our country's direction is really one of the top priorities of the president today is really the tourism.
Right.
So definitely we're gonna add more planes as well, aside from the one that I
So you'll
mentioned
need
earlier.
more staff.
We're actually in the process of finalizing the order of the wide body planes that we've mentioned earlier to serve because of the issues that we're seeing today.
Yeah.
The planes are getting a little bit dated and even the cabin is like,
Yeah.
So once we get the new planes, then we can actually provide better product for the customers, for Philippine Airlines customers to see the value for money,
Yeah.
right? So, but it's coming.
Is it difficult to be a pilot in the Philippines? I mean,
Oh.
what qualifications are you looking for?
Also, going back to the point, so before Philippine Airlines had an aviation school like
I see.
its own to train
Okay.
pilots and supply the airline.
I see.
Yeah, however, during the pandemic, we have to suspend the operations because we don't want to train a lot
then
of
they don't
people
have,
and
they
they
don't
don't
have
have anywhere
place
to
to go.
go.
I
They
see.
can actually apply
Yeah.
for other airlines, but we know that they want to serve the country. They want to
Right.
serve the flag carrier. So we have to suspend that for a while. But now we can see that travel is recovering stronger than any other industry. It's based on the
Yeah,
economic
yeah.
studies of local, right?
Yeah.
So even foreign, we can see that this industry, the travel and tourism industry, recovered much faster at a much faster pace. So we will be planning already to resume the operations of the school. Yeah, and
Is there a date already, or just sort of you're still working that out?
we're looking at next year
Next
to
year, okay.
resume that, because as I mentioned earlier that we're finalizing the order of the
Right.
wide body planes.
So that's timed for
It
the
will
new
come in
arrival.
around because of supply chain issue, too much
Right,
orders
right,
also
right,
demand.
right.
So about in 2 years' time, so that will be a perfect timing to, because the aviation school normally it will take around 2 years for you to graduate. So it will be in line with the
What
timeline.
kind of planes did you fly when you were still
Oh,
working as a pilot?
I started with the 747
Okay.
before, and then moved to the Airbus 320, 321, 330, 340, and then now I'm back to flying the Airbus 321s.
Do you miss it? Relative to what you do now, running the whole company.
Yeah, I would say I still miss it. Yeah.
How long does it take, by the way, to finish the program in your aviation school?
The aviation school, about 2 years.
About 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very interesting. So, what's your outlook for the year? Are you excited?
Okay.
Are you? Some people told us they're cautiously optimistic, or are you neither one
Correct,
of
correct.
those? What's your view?
Yeah, exactly. Like last December, I was asked the same question. So
Yeah.
we were really cautiously optimistic about
Yeah.
the situation this year because of all the rising interest rate, inflation, and a possible recession might come in.
In Europe and U.S.
Yes,
Huh?
Europe
Yeah.
and US. But so far for the first quarter, we've not seen a slowdown in the demand for
Okay.
travel. So it
And
should,
as you said, China is just also now reopening, right? So
Yeah.
it hasn't really. Are you excited about that? Do you?
yeah.
How much business do you do
China.
in China?
China around 20% of the
20%. That's
yeah,
big.
yeah. And I think it's more aligned also with our government's target.
Okay.
Like the China tourist is about 20% also.
Right.
So we're going to target that as well and promote Philippines, because the local tourism, we're also very dependent on the tourists.
Right,
Like the
right.
Chinese tourists, they go everywhere
Right,
around the
right.
country. So
Right.
that's going to really help significantly stimulate the local tourism as well.
Right. So when you say that China's just now reopened, does that mean your flights are back, or you're still working it out?
We're back already
You're back
to
already.
Beijing, to
So
Shanghai.
Shanghai, Beijing,
Yes, and
of course
March.
Hong Kong. Yeah.
Hong Kong, yes,
Yeah.
Hong Kong's back.
Yeah.
And Xiamen, Jinjiang, Guangzhou. Yeah.
Are you looking at more cities in China as
In
part of that,
China.
or are you satisfied with your route there for now?
So actually, we wanted to add more. However,
Okay.
the situation is still the aircraft that
Yeah.
we're
You don't-
limited by the capacity
Yeah.
today.
You don't have any planes right now.
Yeah, today. So
Well, are you worried about, well, you mentioned, a lot of volatile things this year, inflation. How does that impact you directly? I mean, fuel, is that a big worry of yours, or?
So fuel prices has come down a bit,
Okay,
which is
so that's good news.
helpful.
Okay.
It's more of the refinery that's it hasn't gone down yet. The refinery price, like they call it the crack spread,
What is that?
So,
I'm sorry.
because aviation fuel, you need a process to actually, yeah.
Okay.
So we have not seen the capacity of that coming back as
I
fast
see.
as, yes. So in terms of the Brent crude, it went down already.
Right.
However, it's a
The
refinement.
aviation fuel itself.
The
that's-
fees, yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's still high. It's
Right.
yeah.
I'm just curious. I mean, pardon the ignorant question here. Where do we get our aviation fuel? Is it local? Do we import it?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, both actually. Yes,
Both?
yes, both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Wow. That's and when you're looking at this year, when you say you're sort of optimistic, are you looking at any parts of the world besides China that could be a good source of business for PAL? Middle East, for instance, is that coming back online, or do you see growth there? Do you see growth in the U.S. or maybe elsewhere? What are you keeping your eye on in terms of possible opportunities?
Possible opportunities. Last year, we actually went to Europe to discuss about the possibility of
think
resuming.
London, was that London or Paris?
London, we have stopped London already, the
Okay.
operations to London. However, we always believe as well as a country, we want more presence also in Europe.
Sure.
Like at least the flag, the tail
Yeah.
of the Philippines
Yeah.
can be seen.
Well, I remember a long time ago when I was much younger that you flew to Rome, right? Rome was a
Yes,
big
before,
destination
yes.
before. Are there talks to resume that, or maybe add maybe even Frankfurt or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will definitely go back there
Okay.
to Europe, but we're just waiting for their new planes to come in.
Yeah.
Because we, like I mentioned,
That's your main thing, right?
Yeah,
Your
so-
hands are tied.
and so all the Filipinos also can be proud of the product that
Right.
they will be taking a product that that's comparable to world class, right? So the next one will be
What about domestic flights? What's your plan there? I mean, are there,
Yeah.
for those who are looking at local travel?
So domestic flights, for me, I personally I believe that there's so much room to stimulate more travel across the country.
Yeah.
Like we've recently launched. I'm not sure if you're aware of that already. The Cebu Baguio. It was never done before, but
no, I
it's
didn't know about that.
yeah, it's connecting the Visayas all the way to Baguio.
When did this route start? No.
December,
Only.
mid December.
Nice.
So before we were worried
So
about
Lawakan, no?
Lawakan.
Okay, Mactan, Lawakan. Wow.
So the airport, the weather. However, it's been operating for more than 3 months already, and
Okay.
so far we've only canceled one flight due
Is
to
it a
weather.
daily flight or?
It's 4 times a week.
4 times a
a
week.
week.
Okay.
And we also added
Nice.
the Cebu Borongan to actually provide more accessibility. Actually, it's aligned also with the our administration's direction,
Right.
accessibility, and also
And you're not complaining because I think your predecessors long before you, they always complain about the I think I don't know if it's correct or accurate to call Baguio a missionary route, right? But because you're the flag carrier, the complaint in the past was that your PAL was obligated to fly to so many routes that was not economically viable, but because you're the flag carrier, you were forced to.
I think it's about collaboration and
Okay.
supporting each other.
Right.
Because without the support of local government of Baguio and Cebu,
Right.
that may be a missionary route.
Okay.
However, with their support, today it's profitable. The route
that's
is
great. That's good
profitable.
news.
So
That's
it's
good
not
news.
actually
That's
so
good news.
yeah, very thankful for all the support also of the local government.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make the route actually sustainable.
Yeah.
Because if it's a missionary route, then
Right.
we can only do it for so long, right? So,
Right.
but
Right. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, I mean, you have all of these plans, but sometimes you have you need a good relationship with the government because you don't run the airports,
Correct.
right? You don't run all
Yes.
the other infrastructure, right? But
Yeah.
are there any other places domestically that
Oh, okay.
you're looking at? I mean, I hear, for example, I mean, you may need to update me. I heard Lawagas, for example, is a good airport, but
Yes,
does it
yes.
have the night landing capabilities already? I think for a long time it didn't, but
Yeah.
so that was, a hindrance to scheduling
Correct.
flights
Correct.
because you could only fly daytime, right? So
Yeah, but for Lawagan, it's okay.
it's
It's night
already
rated. It's night
okay.
rated.
Okay.
So yeah, for other airports, sometimes it's the length of the runway. It's too short,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's the they call it the PCN, the pavement classification number. It's how much weight
Okay.
the
Right.
pavement can take.
So it depends on what kind of aircraft,
Aircraft.
can land on it.
So sometimes those are some of the challenges that's preventing us from developing really the route.
Yeah.
But yeah, but we're working with a lot of local government as well to.
Does it help that you have Jimmy Bautista running DOTR? Because he's familiar with the
Definitely,
Philippine
yes.
airline industry, and I
Yes.
guess that's the relationship that needs to happen, right? Because
Yes.
you can buy as many planes as you want, but if the Philippines doesn't, or the government doesn't
Yeah.
improve the airports, it doesn't matter. You can't land on them, right?
Yes, definitely working with DOT, RDOT, and also the local government.
Right.
It's really important.
Right.
To
Some of the new airports that open, I think Panglao, is that fairly new?
Panglao is it's a nice
is
airport
it
already.
Bacolod also is fairly new,
Yes,
right?
fairly new
So
also.
how are those doing? I mean, are you did that development happen with PALs? I mean, or did you have inputs on
Oh, during those
because I mean,
times.
does the government go to you? Looks, we have this budget. Do they ask you where so all the airports in the Philippines?
Yeah.
What does PAL want for us to work on first? Did they do something like that? Or?
I believe they did before.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Maybe I wasn't involved that time, but
Right.
yeah.
Right. Are there any new airports that I flew recently to Boracay? Is that a new airport or is
The
it?
Katiklan Airport.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think it has been there for a while, but
It seemed like you had a longer runway, a new terminal,
yes, but
and they're building a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ideally, like, a destination like Boracay, if we can extend the runway a little bit longer,
Yeah.
will be to accommodate jets like bigger planes and heavier planes. It would really make sense because a lot of tourists, that's really their destination. So we
What's the
don't
point
have
of- what's the
coming
point
to
of going to
Manila,
Manila, right?
and then
Yeah.
congest Manila.
Yeah.
So decongesting Manila is good by developing airports outside Manila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That your Lawakan project is very exciting. Then are you looking at other destinations in Manila? I mean, in the Philippines.
Oh,
Are you working with government to develop some other destinations so that you can service them? And as you said,
Yep.
make them not missionary routes, right? But actually profitable routes.
Yeah. So there's also one airport which is not being utilized at the moment. It's in Palawan, El Nido. Yes.
El Nido. Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So
So you don't have to
We're-
fly to Puerto Princesa.
yes, yes.
Ah.
There's one directly to El Nido, but it's right now it's only Air Swift flying to that airport.
Because it's a short
It's,
runway.
a short and private runway. Yeah.
I didn't realize it's private.
So
Okay. Are there plans to? Have you heard if the government's working to build a new one or expand that one or?
build a new one maybe. Yes.
Okay.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other destination I heard in Palawan
Here.
is it San Vicente or
San Vicente, so yes.
but is again that I think that's a smaller
Yes.
runway also, right?
Yes, but that's a different destination as well. Like
Yeah, like sort of in the middle.
It's beautiful as well, and
Yeah.
then yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities here in the Philippines.
Wow.
So much.
What's your what's your marching order when you took over, Pal? What was your instruction? I mean, is it? I know. See the old Capitan. You know what was his instructions to you about when you took over management?
So we've discussed about it. Maybe it's I've been telling also people. It's really putting someone we can say a career person there, like yes to
Someone like you who actually flies planes and understands.
Actually, I'm this year it's already my 20th year in Pale.
Wow.
So yeah, I actually started at the airport. So yeah, for
you look very young to me. I mean 20 years. I didn't realize that.
20 years already.
How old are you now, Captain?
Turning 44.
44. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. So
Why did you join PAL? You know, in the beginning. I mean, you just wanted to be a pilot, or that was. I mean, as opposed to being a pilot for, another airline.
oh, okay.
Were you in the military or anything like that? No. Okay.
So I went to PAL Aviation School.
Okay.
Yes. So
Was flying always your dream when you were a kid? No?
yes. Just didn't have the access, and also someone from the airline. I didn't know someone from the airline before.
Right.
So, however, I just got lucky because initially what I applied for is really for to be a flight attendant.
Cabin crew.
Yes, cabin crew.
Okay.
So I just graduated, and I have a friend who actually applied for that,
Okay.
and invited me to go with him. So
Okay.
that's it. And from there, I suddenly realized that why don't I just try to be a
Try to
pilot?
be a pilot. So did you actually work as a cabin crew?
No, not anymore. So
Okay.
instead of cabin crew, I went to
The aviation school.
airport
Okay.
for almost a year.
Yeah.
Is to do check-ins, and because I also speak, like they saw in my resume that I can speak a lot of Chinese languages as well.
Okay.
So they asked me to be the interpreter at the airport while waiting for my aviation school.
I see. I see. Wow. I hear that some of Capitan's children. I think he has a daughter also who's. Is that right? There's also a pilot or one?
Oh yes. A pilot.
Yeah.
That's actually my wife. Yes.
Oh, that's your
Yes,
wife.
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So husband and wife. Is your wife still flying? Or?
Yes. She's
I think I
actively
met her
flying.
one of the best. I was like amazed that she's actually working as a pilot now.
Yeah, still actively flying.
Wow. Wow. Now, what's the mark you want to leave? You know, what's the mark you want to leave, or what's the legacy you want to leave while you're there? What do you want to do? What do you want to do as president of PAL?
So yeah, as I mentioned also that I never dream of this job, this
Yeah.
post. So for me, it's really about giving back also to the Philippines. Now, I have this opportunity to actually put a lot of things together
Yeah.
to make relationships and the support happen.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's mainly because of maybe my patriotism.
Right.
I always wanted to give back to the Philippines, and this is a good opportunity. Because I always believe that if the Philippines will prosper, will become better, we can bring in more tourists, and naturally the economy of our country will be better, and it's going to be better for everyone, not just the airline, but
For the entire country.
the entire country.
Oh, very good. You know, to make your dreams happen, what do you want government to do to help you out? Is there something that you know? Is there something that you know the government should be thinking of that you haven't heard yet that they should be considering?
Oh, so right now they're actually very supportive. So
Okay.
one important
Especially with Jimmy there, at the DOTR. Yeah.
TOTR and also DOT and other government agencies as well. So yeah, even with we're working also with the the OWA to bring in the to help
The
our
OFWs.
OFW as well. So they're very supportive, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah.
For the DOT to actually market the Philippines together to the world.
Yeah.
Like we started last year with the food tourism as well,
No.
together
yeah,
with DOT. So
Yeah.
when I took over, because that has been in my mind for a while, because when we go to places, we see different cuisines like
Yeah.
Thai, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, and a lot more.
Yeah.
However, our presence of Filipino cuisine is not that popular yet outside the Philippines.
Yeah.
So we've been thinking about that. So last year we collaborated with some local chefs
Okay.
to actually promote Filipino food.
Nice.
Yeah. So that actually helped a bit, I believe, because when we serve those food
Yeah.
on the planes, then
Yeah.
a lot of tourists will experience that, and they started to like it, and then it will, yeah,
Oh.
it will help from there.
Also on the government side, of course, they run the airports, right? I mean,
Yep.
but they impact you, right? I mean, how the quality of the airports directly
Yes.
impacts your business. Are you happy with how they're managing the airports now? I mean, is there something more that needs to be done? You know, in the beginning of the year, we had that. You know, this is not part of the airport, but the traffic control system of
Oh, yes.
shut down. I mean. That of course is beyond your control, but you're impacted, right?
Impacted that.
Are you happy with how government is addressing those issues? Should they be doing more? Or?
Yeah, I think those things will happen, and it's for me. It's really like learning from it and trying
Okay.
to be proactive moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like the culture of, yeah, for me, I'm more of like finding solutions and moving forward.
Then dwelling on the problem.
Yes, because it's not gonna be good for pointing our fingers to because one way or the other it can happen to anyone, and
What happened in the U.S.
it happened in the U.S. as well. So,
But should the government does the government need to look at spending more on something? Do they need to, looking ahead? What we're talking about solution, right? Well, what if you were asked by the government, what should they be doing so that looking forward, we're better off, more safe, right?
Okay.
Better quality.
Yeah. So of course infrastructure.
Yeah.
So in Manila we're limited by the physical space of the airport as well,
Right.
because as we all know that we have two runways. However, it's perpendicular. It's not parallel. And in today's world, parallel runways are more efficient because you can do simultaneous takeoff and landings.
Right.
And so we have to work with what we have today.
Okay.
And I believe the government's already investing and working on that
Yeah.
to have a system they call it the ACDM, it's Airport Collaborative Decision Making. So it's going to be transparent to all airlines, to all stakeholders of the airport.
Okay.
So every movement will be coordinated. So it's going to be more efficient, definitely. With only that, we can already add a few movements per hour as well to add some slots in the Manila airport. For the meantime, we also know that there are other airports outside Manila that private entities are trying to develop.
Yes.
But
Are you excited about that?
excited about it. If we're looking at really massive growth for the country, then those airports will really make sense. But for the next 3 to 5 years, I think we still have to find a lot of solutions for Manila Airport.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you worry that that there are too many airports? I mean, are we a big enough market? Say like London, you have I think 3 airports, or I'm not that familiar, but are we that kind of in that kind of situation, or is Manila International Airport and Clark, is that enough for now, or should we be looking at maybe not further in the future develop more, or should we be looking at maybe, as you said, maximizing the existing ones?
Yeah, so for today, I believe we're a little bit over capacity already today in Manila.
Okay.
That's why everybody can feel the congestion.
Yeah.
But with the efficiencies and some systems upgrade, we can definitely make the traffic situation here in Manila better.
Okay.
But when looking at growth, I think it's how we promote the Philippines as a destination, because today a lot of airlines still want to fly to the Philippines. However, also restricted by the number of slots that we have today in Manila.
Yeah.
So it's really working together as a nation to bring in more traffic. And I believe in five years' time, we'll be okay by that time if we continue our directions today.
Yeah. Cebu, is a
Cebu.
fairly new airport, right?
Yes, yes.
How did that development impact your business in Cebu?
Okay.
I mean, because a lot of people don't, as you said, don't want to fly to Manila and then go to
correct.
another destination. A lot of people just want to go to Cebu.
Correct,
right?
correct.
So, did you see any bump in business? I mean, what was the impact on you?
So definitely, I just came from Cebu
Okay.
last night.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So because we resumed the PAL Interclub, the golf tournament.
Yes, yes.
So-
Thank you for inviting me, by the way. But if I had gone, maybe I won't be able to do this interview.
So yeah. So
Al Mendoza was the one who inviting me, but thank you.
So yeah, it was successful, and we've actually added so many flights in Cebu already because we believe that it can somehow decongest Manila
Yeah.
for the people whose final destination is not really in Manila.
Yeah.
Then they can actually proceed to Cebu, and then from Cebu can connect to other parts of Visayas and Mindanao.
Right.
Like for example, even the Baguio. So for us, we see that Manila Baguio, maybe it's too near, so
Yeah.
it will not make so much sense. It
Right.
will not provide too much convenience also for
Right.
the traveler. So we chose Cebu as a hub,
Okay.
and from Cebu, you can actually connect to other places in Visayas and Mindanao.
And
So-
you have international flights
Two, yes.
out of Cebu, right?
We have Cebu, Japan. We have
Yeah.
also Cebu, Bangkok, and
Yeah.
we're looking to adding some more
Right.
flights. So the people, or the people in Visayas and Mindanao can just go to Cebu and go even to international destinations.
That's what I was asking you earlier. Should the government doing more projects like that? Because I mean, obviously that project was successful, and you're enjoying the benefits of that, right? But is there another airport that the government should say, oh, well, let's build a new airport like Cebu, so that maybe it can be an international gateway for PAL and the other airlines. But I know there are many destinations in the Philippines, but maybe what should be next that the government should look at. No?
So definitely Manila is Manila. Then Cebu will be a hub for
Yeah.
the Visayas region because in terms of infrastructure, now they have actually parallel runway already in Cebu.
Oh wow,
Yes,
okay.
so
So better than Manila.
yeah, so
What about Davao? for example?
Davao can be a hub
Okay.
as well for the southern part
Okay.
of Philippines.
Okay.
And maybe Lawag or Vigan, somewhere north. So you have like major airports north, mid,
Right.
and
Is Loag an international gateway
yes,
already?
it's international. We used to have international flights in Lawag already, like
Okay.
to Taiwan and to other Hong Kong, I
Right,
believe,
right.
before.
Right.
Yes.
I know a lot of tourists went to Fort Ilocos.
Yes, yes. Before it was really popular.
yeah.
So we hope we can resume all those flights
Right.
as well.
Right. Wow.
Mm-mm.
And going back to international destinations, what do you think will happen first? Is it Europe? Is it something else? I mean, what's the more realistic goal you think?
So end of the month, we'll be launching the new direct flight from Manila to Perth.
Oh, Australia.
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
Western Australia. So,
What route did you fly, by the way, when you were a pilot? Ano?
oh, pretty much everywhere already.
much
Yeah, but it's great for the inauguration flight of Manila Perth. It's gonna be in 27th of March.
That's interesting.
So I'll be flying that day.
Oh wow.
The
Wow,
first
wow,
flight.
Wow.
So-
Why Perth? I mean, I think you already fly to Sydney, I presume, right?
Sydney,
Or
Melbourne,
Yeah.
Brisbane.
The major
Yes.
cities. Yeah.
Yes.
Are there a lot of Filipinos there, or are there a lot of Australians? You think
Okay, I think both.
both?
A lot of students as well there studying
Really?
there, like
Okay.
even
Filipino students studying in
Filipino
Australia.
students as Australia, and even I would say even Japanese and Chinese people.
Okay.
They also like study in Australia.
Right.
So you can
Fly there
Fly-
through Philippine
play
Airlines.
here and then yeah.
Just my last few questions. The other airlines we see, all these luxurious offering, I mean, suites that cost like $20,000 just
Yeah.
to. Is that something that you think PAL will be doing in the future, or are you looking at another segment that's more going to be looking at more economy, premium, and business only?
Yeah. So economy, premium, and business, and I believe the business we can provide more value as well, because right now not really like the biggest suites, right? But we can have a little bit of privacy by having some yep,
cover.
yep. So that
Are you gonna have like a $20,000 suite on PAL?
yeah, the suite is like there's an offering right now. Also, the middle section they do it as a suite, right? For family. right?
There's one now.
No, for
okay.
PAL,
For
no.
another airline. Yeah,
But
okay.
other airlines.
Yeah.
But for PAL, I believe that, of course, providing them a better product, actually world-class product as well, but a market for those suites is like kind of first class.
Yeah.
So I think for the next few years, we have to build first a solid foundation of the business class, like a super nice business class first,
Yeah.
and then we'll
Then
see
go-
from there.
yeah.
And then if there's a market for that, then depending on the customer feedback and we value those feedbacks very much because that's gonna drive the business. But thinking forward, like 5-10 years from now, Maybe the Philippines, if the economy keeps on
Yeah.
getting better, then. But I always say this, like, it will take a nation to help the Philippines. It's not, and to help PAL, because we want to go to more places, to have more presence, to provide easier accessibility for our countrymen. But we just have to support the our flag together.
Yeah. Well, Captain, thank you very much for taking time. Is there anything else you want to add, or maybe something I haven't asked, maybe something that you'd like people to know about PAL? Invite them to fly on PAL.
Yeah. So yeah, because like the one I mentioned, that we're encountering some challenges, but this was majority of the issues were developed during the pandemic and when the airplanes were not flying. But we can promise that we've already ordered all those in-flight entertainment, that like the complaints of the people. We hear that, and really gonna
You're doing
move,
something about it, yeah.
doing something about it, and until the new planes come in, and then we can really compete with.
But I didn't realize that happened because you were carrying PPEs and essentials. That was the reason why that happened. Right?
And in even other cargos, essential cargos.
Yeah.
So
It was an unusual situation for you.
that's why other planes like the 350s, the 330s, they're actually good.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, some of the planes flying to Asia actually do not have in-flight entertainment, but we're also refurbishing those planes to make people actually see the value for their money. So a lot of exciting things will come, and just want to thank everyone during the pandemic for everyone's support as well, especially last year. So last year, PAL did so great. It's giving also. I'll give back the appreciation actually to everyone who supported the airline last year. So just continue the support, and you will see more improvements and better product moving forward.
Oh, very good. So there you go. Thanks again for
Thank you.
your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
And hopefully this will be the beginning of a new level of success for PAL. Thank you.
Yeah.